Alright, this is the second part of intercept form since the video was getting too long on the first one. So we're going to finish up with talking about these last few problems. So on 5 through 8, we want to figure out if the parabola will have a maximum or minimum, then find the vertex, and then determine when the graph is increasing or decreasing using interval notation. So on number 5, we do not have intercept form. We have these parentheses squared, which means we have vertex form. So we look inside the parentheses to get the x value of the vertex, and we take the opposite sign, so positive 3, and then the y value here, this k, is positive 4. So if we look at our a value, we have 1/3, which is positive, which means our parabola will be opening up. Since our parabola is opening up, that means the vertex is a minimum. There's nothing smaller than that vertex. So now we want to figure out if it's increasing or decreasing. Well, if we look on this left side here, as the x values get bigger, the y values are getting smaller, which means on this part of the parabola, it is decreasing. So we're going to go from negative infinity, and then this point here is 3, 4. And we're going to look at that x value, which is 3. So the parabola is decreasing from negative infinity to 3. And then it switches and is increasing after that. So it's increasing from 3 to infinity. On number 6, we're back to intercept form. So here our a value is negative, which means our parabola is opening down. So the vertex is going to be a maximum point. Okay, next we want to find the vertex. So remember, we start with finding P and Q. We take the opposite sign, so P is positive 2 and Q is negative 4. For the x value of the vertex, we find the average. So 2 plus negative 4 over 2 equals negative 2 over 2, which is negative 1. So the x value is negative 1. Let's find the y by plugging in negative 1 wherever we see x. So we have that negative 2 in front. Negative 1 minus 2. Negative 1 plus 4. Simplify inside the parentheses first. Okay, remember our little self-check stop here. So inside the parentheses, we have the same but opposite signs, which is what we want. So we're going to take negative 2 times negative 3 times 3, which gives us positive 18. So our vertex here, negative 1, positive 18. So on the left side of this graph, it is increasing from negative infinity to negative 1, and it is decreasing from negative 1 to positive infinity. All right, try these last two on your own, and then play when you think you have the answers. So number 7, we are in standard form. We have no parentheses. The exponents are from greatest to least. So we have that negative a value, so the parabola will be opening down, which means our vertex is a maximum. Okay, to find the x value of the vertex when we are in standard form, we want the opposite to be over 2 times a. So we're going to start with finding the a value. Remember, the a value is the leading coefficient, so the number in front of the variable here is negative 1. B is that middle coefficient, which is negative 4. So x equals, the opposite of b would give us positive 4, since we started with b being negative 4. 2 times a, 2 times negative 1, equals 4 over negative 2. So x is 4 divided by negative 2, which is negative 2. Everywhere we see an x, we're going to replace that with negative 2, and I'm going to put it in parentheses. So y equals, that negative 1 is out front, and then I have an x, so in parentheses I'm going to put negative 2, and then squared, minus 4 times negative 2, plus 2. Order of operations, exponents comes first. So we still have that negative out front, and then we would have -2, that quantity squared. So -2 times -2 gives us 4. And then we still have -4 times 2 plus 2. Okay, next in order of operations is multiplication. So we have -4, and then -4 times -2 in the middle here. So we're going to multiply those, and we get +8 plus 2. So now we just take -4 plus 8 plus 2, and we get 6. Go back to that same color. All right, so here's my vertex, -2, 6. And on the left-hand side, as x increases, y is also increasing. So we're starting off with increasing. So those x values are -infinity to -2. And then after that, we are decreasing. So from -2 to +infinity. Number 8 here, again, we have vertex form. When we don't see a number in front of the parentheses, remember it is a 1, so we have a positive a value. So our parabola is going to be opening up, which means our vertex is a minimum. Take the opposite value for x, so 8, and then keep the y, -10. For increasing or decreasing, if we look at the left-hand side here, as x is increasing, y is decreasing. So we're actually starting with decreasing. So it's decreasing when x is from -infinity to 8. And then it's increasing when we go from 8 to +infinity. All right, 9 and 10, state the domain and range for each graph. So domain is our x values and range is our y values. I'm going to start with identifying the vertex, because remember, your vertex, the y value, is always going to be in your range. So we're going to start with finding that. And here is our vertex right here. It is a maximum point, and it is over -2 up 8. Okay, so domain, our x values, we look at the graph from left to right. Well, on our left here, we have an arrow pointing. We're going to keep going to the left further and further and further, and then we're going to the right further and further and further. So the domain is -infinity to +infinity. And then the range, the y values, we're going to look from bottom to top. So at the bottom here, we start at -infinity. And we keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going until we get to this maximum point. And the y value, since we're looking at range, we want the y value. The y value of this point is 8. And since there is a point on the graph, when y is 8, we're going to end that with a bracket. So again, the y value of your vertex is in your range somewhere. So over here again, I'm going to start with finding the vertex. So it is over 1 up 3. So the domain, left to right, it covers every single x value. Range, bottom to top. If we start at the bottom, we have nothing, nothing, nothing until we hit this point. And the y value, we're dealing with range, so we want the y value of this point is 3. There's a point at y equals 3, so put a bracket. And then after the point, either way we go, we're going all the way to +infinity. And so that is intercept form.